What is the mind you was coming through once again, man? And on today's video, we're gonna talk about what is the process of being of having an asshole. Not only that, when you are going to be paroled, what is actually the process, man? Because and also I'm gonna give you some tips, maybe for those individuals who do not have papers. Whenever you make it to prison, I'm gonna give you some tips, maybe to slide through your cracks, man. Who knows? But the reason why I'm speaking on this is because there's this one story, man, on Fox News. I watch all the news, man, trying to get the information out of both sides, and then I make what makes sense in my head. I'll go with it, right? Apparently, there was this individual who got into a crash, sadly unalive, a couple, right? Fox is making it a big deal that this guy who was illegal in the U.S. is only going to get 3 years in prison. For me, knowing about the law does not make sense, but that's their story. And any individual who would was to listen to this story, I'm pretty sure they would be upset about it. I am upset about it if that's the case, right? But it does not make sense in my head. But I don't know. But on today's video, we're going to talk about that. I'm gonna explain to you things about the ICE detention center and stuff like that, so you can get laced up, so you can know and don't get too carried away with the news, man. Before we continue with this video, man, don't forget to hit the like, a comment, and if you haven't subscribed to that channel, man, hit the subscribe button real quick. Does not take nothing from you, and at the end of the day, it's helping my canal grow, which I do highly appreciate. So, with this being said, muchas gracias for those who've been supporting the canal, new subscribers. I highly appreciate you guys as well. Let's do this. I had a story, man, for about Kilmar Obrego, right? Okanaki. I thought he went home. Somebody said, or it said breaking news, the guy is home, right? So I went with the story, put everything down. I uploaded the video. The video was out there for everybody to see. I think only 8 people saw it. And then I was like, hold on. Why I don't see nothing about free? Because after I'm done with my stuff, I still search and stuff like that. I said, I don't see nothing about free, man. And these people were saying that he was home. I said, he was in El Salvador home. He's still in prison. That's not home, you know? But hey, it is what it is, man. These people like to twist shit and do all kinds of different stuff, man. But whatever. So we running with this story. Once they let old boy home, we're gonna drop the other video. But on this story, man, there was basically this. It goes like this. There was this illegal alien, right? Somebody who didn't have papers, who got deported twice. He's a Mexican national. Got under the influence, drunk, under the influence. Got into an accident in the freeway. Sadly, a couple became unalive, right? So on the news, they interviewed both dads, and they're saying that this guy's gonna do only 3 years in prison, right? For me, it does not make sense because I know a subscriber, and I know of cases that usually for this type of situations, when somebody's driving under the influence, it's manslaughter or could be involuntary manslaughter, right? And usually it's 10 years. It's around there, They have to give them the GBI plus whatever that thing carries, and it's gonna total 10 years around there. Or that's usually the time that they offer you, which the subscriber, one of his family members, was involved in an incident like this, in where sadly somebody became alive, the other person was only in intensive care, and eventually she made it, right? They offer him 10 years, 12 years around there. Eventually he got a deal for 8. I was like, man, I think that's the best he's going to get. Just go for it, go for it. That's it, After he's done with everything, I think he's only gonna do 4 years. If he's gonna go to a level 2, 4 years if I tell him what to do, right? But on the news right here, they're saying that this individual who unalived 2 people is only gonna do 3 years in prison, right? And I was like, hold on, man, this does not make sense. It does not make sense, right? He has to have a bigger sentence. There's no way somebody's gonna do this little time, But I don't know what to believe. What I can just tell you is what I know. And one thing I do disagree with CDCR, man, is how much time, and me being a prisoner, man, it was how much time they were giving away. Look, I do agree with the whole percentage. and where before there used to be a big gap between 50% and 85%, 80%. I never believe in that big gap. You know, why would somebody who is with a non-violent would do? I mean, just put it this way: somebody who's actually committed something against a minor could be doing less time than actually somebody who committed a violent act against a gang member against a gang member. Why is that? I never believed in this, and I was against that. You know, once they lower the percentage to what is 50%, 60%, and 66, I was like, that is the right way to sentence somebody. That is that is right. You know, that's something that you could be like, you know what? Okay, I can accept that. But now with CDCR offering all these incentives, giving just free time left and right, I feel like a lot of people are not gonna take their sentence seriously enough. You know, because we're talking about you go to a level two, those 50 percenters are only gonna do 30% of the sentence. Those 85 percenters, 80 percenters, they're only gonna do 50% of their sentence. And I don't feel like a lot of people are gonna take their time seriously. At least that's from my point of view. That's from my perspective of somebody who did 15 years straight in prison. I was not sentenced to 15 years. I was not sentenced to that on time, but that's what I did. I was sentenced for tomorrow. And I feel when somebody does a longer time in prison, you get time to actually understand and appreciate those things in life. Not like somebody who's now gonna commit a crime like I did, gonna go into prison and only do maybe 8 years, 7 years. 7 years, like is I feel like a lot of people, well, depending, they might not learn on this, man. And that's one thing I do disagree with with the law. You know, yeah, give them the percentage, but now the whole thing. If you go to a level two, you even get a lower percentage. I never agree with that. Never did, and I still don't. You know, I still don't. Let us work for our time off. We are already earning good time credit, so why are we gonna get extras once we hit a level two? So they're saying that this guy's gonna do this. Now the immigration are saying that they already put a ice hold on this individual, and they said specifically they hope that CDCR turns in this individual once he's done with the sentence, right? And it's funny how they put it out there, but it's not how it works, man. When they say it like this, is like, okay, well, maybe somebody's gonna get free. Today I'm going free. Here comes the cops. You're in the van. They're gonna hold you right there by your arm and hoping that that van of ice comes through and picks you up in al ratos. Ahí nos vemos, compa, right? Go to INS or go to whatever detention center and figure it out, right? You're not a problem of the state no more. It does not work like that, man. Usually, or at least that's how I got it when they put it out there on, like they try to blame it on CDCR. It doesn't even work like that. I'm gonna tell you what happened to one of the compas like this. Usually, INS do put a ice. They put a hold on you. And trip on this: if you're illegal, never got in trouble, you have never committed a crime in your life, this is what you need to do. When they stop you, whatever crime you did, they're gonna ask you where you were born. Say that you were born in the U.S. Give them a city. Give them the name of the hospital. Trust me, that's gonna help you because once you say you were born in Mexico, it doesn't matter if you're a citizen, resident, illegal. The ICE detectives, they're gonna go over and talk to you, and they're gonna put an ice hold on you because you were born in Mexico. Sometimes when you are born right here, they still put that on you, and they just want you to prove them wrong, you know? Because if not, you're gonna have to prove them wrong in court, which is gonna take away from your time, you know? That sucks. That sucks. I met somebody who's actually parents, they're citizens. They went to Italy to have them over there, and he was fighting for his state. Eventually, he won it, and I mean, he was sweating it. Of course, I seen citizens who have an ISO, they have to send their birth certificates and whatever information so they can actually take them off the hole. And I have seen illegals who actually made it through the cracks, you know? And sometimes because they're not doing that much time, it does not get to the right people at the right time, and they just slip through the cracks, right? So usually how this works, man, because they make it seem like, oh, somebody went and picked them up, or let's say I'm free, today's my last day in prison. Let's go in the little van so they can kick you out on the Amtrak or whatever bus station. And it feels like they're saying like, okay, you're gonna be right there with the cop, and you're just gonna wait for the migra to come through and pick you up. And how I used to think, man. You know what I mean? But no, they don't even do that, man. Like, come on. There was a compa, right, who who had a detention center, but had ice hole, right? He was going home. Like, let's say tomorrow he's supposed to go home. Somehow, some way, they decide to change his date because of whatever reason, and it was only for 3 days, but and only so the migra can come through, man. That's crazy. Tell me if CDCR is not doing their job. They change his date, you know, just because we made a mistake. Come on, what mistake you made? There's no mistake. Come on. So apparently that's what happened, man. And I'm telling you, it's crazy. But the process goes like this. Once we supposed to go home, right? We go to R&R, like any other prisoner. From R&R, you're supposed to go to the streets. They walk you, get in the van, they drop you off in front of the prison, or they drive you all the way to the Amtrak or a bus station, right? So you can take the bus or the Amtrak to your city or whatever. Now, for those who have an ice hole, you don't get to go nowhere. You get to stay in a holding tank until the migra comes for you. So they're gonna come like any other transportation. When you get transferred to different prisons, right? When R&R, here comes the cops with the handcuffs, the shackles. Talk to the R&R officer, say what's up, how you doing? Let me see who's in the list. All right, where's my the individual in that cell? Okay, come on, we're gonna take them. That's how you do it. So when they say we hope the CDCR is gonna turn in an individual, no man, it's actually the duty of ICE to make sure that they're right there present to go and pick you up. You know, because they are notified. They are notified within days. But sometimes these people they don't make it, right? Because that's their duty. CDCR gives you a chance, like, wait up, this guy's about to get home or whatever. Go pick him up because he's gonna be released right here. It happened like that to the compa like this, in where they extend his stay at the state prison because of whatever reason, right? But it seemed because ICE did not want to pick him up. But it is what happened. It is what it is. There was nothing done about it. I'm pretty sure they violated a couple rights on that, right? But that's all I wanted to say. Give you some perspective of actually what happens and how it happens, man. So with this being it, we are out. Next video. Muchas gracias. Saludos a todos and stay positive. Saludos. Gracias.